This is truly a liquid lunch.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Because you're getting me drunk. Life is about relationship. And you exercise all of them beautifully in a nice harmony.
Thank you. Which is more important, the idea or the people?
That's easy. The people. Data is the new oil.
We're going to start building the nest.
I'm a voracious student.
This is looking incredible.
Best part of this video. Yum, yum, yum.
Wow. Hello everyone. Today's guest is a visionary investor who spent decades backing bold ideas and brilliant minds. David Blumberg is the founder of Blumberg Capital and one of the earliest champions of the tech startups and now power of digital lives. As David shares his journey, we will be preparing the quail egg soup just as big in size as his ambitions. Please welcome David Blumberg. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for being here. And to welcome you, I want to open up some champagne for us.
Of course. Nothing but the best for Edwina.
Thank you. It's been hard to get David here because, of course, his schedule is absolutely packed. So it took me a while, but you know, we are finally here. Thank you for your time. I always appreciate you and your time.
I have enjoyed your meals at private dinner parties that you hold and when you've done catering, and they're always amazing. So I feel so special today getting to have you just to myself and enjoy this wonderful meal.
Thank you. Thank you so much, David. And I'm gonna brush the champagne. Don't be afraid.
Wow. That's exciting. I've only seen that done once before.
Yeah?
Yes.
I've done it for you before.
Oh, you did? Oh, so twice? I'm wrong?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Boom.
Boom, boom. That's it. We got it. Thank you. I think it's one of the favorite parts to cheer my guests with champagne. Santé.
Gin.
Genatset. It's in Armenian. Genatset. Cheers. Akintanos. Cheers to all of you. Thank you guys for watching.
To love, peace, prosperity, happiness, all good things.
To all the good things in life, yes. Before we get to your life journey, to all the things you've done, I want to ask you about this incredible dish that we will be preparing. Sure. It's quail egg soup with some choy and some greens, and it's such a beautiful soup. It looks like a bird nest, correct?
That's right.
So why did we choose this special recipe?
Well, I have a fondness for a recipe book by Madhur Jaffrey, who is an Indian diplomat's wife, I believe, and she's obviously an amazing chef in her own right, and she traveled in many countries in Asia, and she's a Brahmin, so she's vegetarian, and so she made this amazing cookbook with the best recipes she found all over Asia. So it's a delight. It's like a journey as you read her book, and I love these kinds of fresh quality ingredients, a lot of vegetables, and the quail eggs are delightful to look at. They're delicious. They're a little bit lighter taste than a chicken egg.
Exactly.
And I think you're going to like it.
And in honor of that, I'm wearing my Chinese dress that I bought in Hong Kong, and I was looking forward for some sort of event to wear it, and I can't. And this is the best one, so I'm so happy that I get to wear it with you and to cook such a beautiful dish. So, David, why did you turn your back on working on big firms and then you started your own venture? How did that happen?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur by birth, I think. I think entrepreneurs are born. I think they can also be made. I started my first company in college, and it helped me pay my way through Harvard, which was an important thing because I came from a middle class family, and it was tough to pay for those expensive tuition. And I started that business, and I got this marvelous feeling of response feedback. You see a problem, you solve it for the customer, they're happy, they pay you, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. It's a marvelous cycle. It gives immediate feedback. If you don't do it right, they'll tell you, they'll let you know that it can be improved, or you do better, or you lose the client. And if you do it well, generally the business expands. So it's a very gratifying servicing of other people, and then reward comes back. It's karmic.
It's a beautiful, I've been to couple of events that David Blumberg Capital hosted for startups, and I was so impressed with all the sieving through that you do. You pick all these incredible startups. How do you find those unicorns?
Well, we have a team, and we're distributed in 4 locations. So we go where the entrepreneurs are. So we're in San Francisco, Miami, New York, and Tel Aviv. And we go out to startup meetups, and we go to incubator demo days, and we talk to university professors about who their brightest graduate students are, or even undergraduate students that are working on solving new problems, mostly in the software, data, AI domains. We like to invest in companies that are managing or leveraging or working with proprietary data sets, and then they use AI of a variety of types of algorithms to analyze that data and make raw data into knowledgeable, actionable information. And so most of our companies are selling productivity to the largest corporations in the world, and government and educational institutions. And so we're trying to finding a common theme. Raw data is kind of useless, but if you analyze it, structure it, label it, and make it available as knowledge, then it can be used for decisions that are smarter than without that extra data.
I agree with you. And what advice would you give to someone who is trying to get into this type of business?
Well, there's 2 kinds of business. I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I want to give advice to entrepreneurs, and then there's how to get into the venture capital business, and that's separate.
That's a separate thing.
I'll start with, I think venture capital is one of the greatest jobs in the world.
I wish I knew that before. It's such an incredible opportunity, and it's so also wide in every area. You could learn so much. It's a beautiful thing. Yes.
It's so interesting because every day we're meeting smart teams of motivated people, entrepreneurial mostly they're young people, but it doesn't have to be, and they're charged with an ambition to create something new that the world has not seen before. They're wanting to solve a problem that needs to be addressed. And that's the thing. So now to be an entrepreneur, and so you get a huge variety, and you go to interesting places because most technical people are in interesting cities around the world. And so you get a lot of interesting travel, talking to smart people, solving tough problems. And it's very holistic. It's not just trading stocks where you need to know the price ratios. It's not just the psychology of human resource hiring. It's everything. It's technology, it's finance, it's organizational management, it's marketing. And one of the biggest important things is for the entrepreneur, now I'm talking to entrepreneurs, is to find the right product market fit. And what we like to say is that one should be watching a video like this,
yes,
not looking at a photograph, because a photograph is static, whereas a video is dynamic, it's moving, it's showing a trend. And if you can discern the trend and be like Wayne Gretzky and skate to where the puck is going to be, that's the goal, because markets are very dynamic. What is exciting and top of the world right now could be outmoded and disintermediated in a few years. So we try and look for things that are dynamic but have a future positive trajectory that will accelerate their growth in the future.
Thank you so much for this answer. Please learn. I always like to be around David because I learn so much. And which is more important, the idea or the people?
That's easy. The people.
Okay.
Because an average person with a great idea probably is going to get an average result. An average idea with a great person or team, mostly it's a team, is probably going to get an above average result, because the people are able to figure out how to improve things. We don't, as humans, need to accept things as they are. We can see as it is and then see a vision of how it will be. And if we reshape it, if we make it, for example, here we have raw ingredients. If we just eat the raw ingredients, it would not be very good. Raw quail eggs, the shell would get in our teeth, it'd be horrible. But we're gonna prepare it and cook it and craft it into something that's gonna be beautiful, delicious, and nutritious.
There you go. I love your answers because they are so deep. It's lots of wisdom that you bring and carry, and lots of knowledge, and it's such a beautiful thing.
It's because you're getting me drunk.
Let's get you drunk a little more. So which investments are you most proud of?
Well, of course, the ones that are most successful. And in venture capital, it's sort of what we call power law returns. In a typical portfolio of about 40 portfolio companies where we've made minority investments, we're not an owner of the company, we're a minority owner of maybe 40 companies in a $200 million fund, perhaps 10 or 20% of them are going to be really successful. The others are okay, and even 10, 20% are going to be complete failures. Because it's just life. Things happen. Not everything works out. Markets change. Regulations change. People flame out. They burn out. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong. But of the 10 to 20% that really succeed, the thing that I notice about them is that they're solving a really big problem that generally does not have yet a lot of competition. So I'll give you an example, if I may.
Yes.
So company is called DoubleVerify. And this company was creating something that when I first heard about it, I didn't think the problem existed. What was the problem? The problem was that advertisers were noticing that their ads were appearing on websites and on pages that they did not want to be associated with. So Verizon ads were on neo-Nazi sites and Ku Klux Klan and pornography and so on. It was not good for the brand. So they took all their internet advertising offline for about 6 months until they could solve the problem. And this company, DoubleVerify, a startup that we invested in from Israel, solved the problem, got their first customer, Verizon, and now they're a multi-billion-dollar company.
What an incredible.
And what they do is they essentially monitor from the ad server, and they determine if the placement on this page will meet the media plan of the advertiser. So that's one example. Should I give one more?
Sure. Those examples are fascinating, for sure.
One that is just beautiful, and it's life-saving, because not all business is about money. You have to make money, otherwise you go out of business. Imogen.
Imogen blew away my mind. You see, I knew what you're going to say about it. Such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a company that has relocated recently here to Miami.
Yes.
And I'll tell the story about how it works. About 3 years ago, a woman walked into a hospital in Tel Aviv complaining of terrible headache, and the doctor said we should do a full scan. They did the scan. They came back, very bad news, stage 4 lung cancer. It's gotten up into the brain. That's causing the headaches. She said, oh my God, is there anything we can do? How long do I have to live? And they said, well, it's very advanced, probably 4 to 8 weeks to live. The problem is that we know it's lung cancer. We can see that from the biopsy on the slide in the microscope. But to determine the genetics is going to take 3 or 4 weeks. And
she doesn't have that time.
And there are 28 types of lung cancer. 3 of them can be cured by chemo. But 3 to 4 weeks to do this genetics will be too late.
Too late.
But there is one little startup company that claims that they, instead of 3 or 4 weeks, they can do the test in 1 minute. So we were the first investor in this company, and there's another very famous South Florida resident who's the second investor. I won't name him right now.
Right.
But he runs a huge multinational company. And this, they came back, they did that. She said, yes, let's try that test. They came back the same day. They said, this is your lucky, unlucky day. You do have stage 4 lung cancer, but you have one of the 3 kinds that can be cured with existing chemo treatments. That lady, 3 years later, is alive and walking around.
Wow,
today.
bravo. Bravo to this company.
AI can save you.
Unbelievable. And because you also have to find out how your cancer can be treated, because the different gene and DNA is not going to be treated with the same type of chemo. So that's why it was so important to find that information.
Exactly, and it's an example of this thesis that I was just mentioning about data. The raw data, sort of somewhat meaningless, but right in the hands of an expert, that data can make the difference between life and death. And we see it being applied to law firms and advertising firms and accounting firms, machine shops, manufacturing organizations, where marshaling the data, analyzing it, and doing something more intelligent with the data than you did yesterday will make you do better and better in business, solve people's problems more efficiently, and that's the way the world gets better. So I'm very excited about this whole thesis that the more we learn about data, and it's a cliche, but data is the new oil. We need oil,
I agree.
but data is this incredible leveraging agent. And so that's why we look for data-rich companies to invest in.
What do you think about AI? Evil or opposite?
Like most technologies, like fire, it can burn you if we touch the stove and it's hot, but it can also cook our food. So AI is a power for good, and potentially in the wrong hands, a power for evil. I tend to think that humans need to embrace new technologies, and we in the free Western countries need to embrace this, because our adversaries are not going to sit back and wait if we hold back. So we need to push the cutting edge, we need to push the envelope and be pushing forward in AI, and luckily we are. The US dwarfs other countries' spending on R&D. Israel's also very high. Western Europe's doing okay. But North America is the best place to be investing right now in this area. We have the widest and deepest capital markets. We have a relatively less regulated environment, which is very important for entrepreneurs. Regulations are bad for entrepreneurs generally. Small government, big citizens. Big government, small citizens. That's my my framework, my teeter-totter.
Sense.
And then the other thing is that this country also has incredible resources in terms of natural resources, oil, gas, mining, and some minerals that we're starting to liberate and have free access to them. That will help a lot. We have a very qualified workforce. We have excellent universities for technical standards and so on. And we have oceans on either side of us. So it's a great place to be investing right now. Israel's also a great place to invest. That's mostly where we invest. U.S., Canada, Israel, a little bit in Europe. And there are great places, other parts of the world, India, Singapore, other places have great opportunities, Japan, South America. Being here in Miami, we're looking for a lot of deals that might be coming from South America up this way. And I think you're going to see a new trend of partnerships between North and South. North America, South America for engineering talent. That'll be exciting to see. And Miami, again, is a very fulcrum point for that new
It's a great
trend.
place to be.
Yeah.
And you mentioned education. What would you say for the new generation, what they should be looking at? Because everything has changed so much, and the education system and the life is completely different, especially after COVID. And I feel like the new generation might be struggling. What are the careers they can get into that would be needed and would be successful? Because it's been a pretty complicated recently.
Yeah, I think everybody will benefit from adding data science to their curriculum. No matter what you're doing, understanding the data, understanding the statistics around it, and understanding it yourself, not just having the computer do it for you. Because there is this opportunity in the future with AI, and the future is now. It can do a lot of the calculations, it can do a lot of the hard work, but if you don't understand it and can separate the fantasy, or what do they call it? There's a term that for AI when they fantasize and they go off and they create things, hallucinations.
Hallucinations.
You've got to be able to see if a hallucination is bad or if there's reality behind it. So I think data science is very important. I'm very excited about biology in the future. I think that adding computers to the biology and the medical world is going to change and make our lives much longer, much healthier.
I have met recently a really wonderful young lady that was a marine biologist, scientist, and she was creating actually coral reefs in the lab to save the oceans.
Beautiful.
So to drop them to the ocean, and I want to actually invite her to my show, talk about it, because it's such a noble thing to do to save our environment and the oceans.
And you probably know this, maybe for your audience, coral reefs are where and mangroves, and the interface between saltwater and freshwater are where most of life is created. These interspaces between the salty and the fresh, the brackish and the sweet water is where a lot of life is created, and same in coral reefs. So they're really important. They're beautiful as well. So it's fun. Let's go diving together.
I have some corals there that I found in the after the storm.
Yes.
And I just made a little ikebana from it.
I love it.
I love that David is so well-rounded. You could speak to him about anything. He knows everything, anything.
I'm a voracious student. I like to learn a lot. So I'm here to learn with you about your wonderful cooking techniques. And what I love about your cooking techniques, among others, is that you bring passion to it, and you bring intelligence to it, and you bring beauty. And all those are aspects, where there's touch, taste, smell,
all the sense,
scent, and whatever. And you exercise all of them beautifully in a nice harmony.
Thank you, David. We want to start cooking, and please do not forget to scan that QR code for the recipe. And this dish is pretty quick to make, so I'm going to explain before we start. So we did prepare the choy sum. If you don't have choy sum, you could use also bok choy. So how you prepare it, you just saute some garlic and steam it in the boiling water for a couple of minutes until it's soft but still green. We don't want to do it on the camera because we need to strain, but we We did it right before the show. It just takes literally 5 minutes. So we prepared that. The next step we're gonna do is to cook the quail eggs. And it's a little bit complicated to crack them because they're so fragile and you can crack the yolk, but we will try to make sure they're not going to be cracked, and that's going to be really pretty. So we have the steamer going on here, and you will need some type of ceramic. This is from a cup that I use. I cook chawan mushin, but you could use it as a base to cook the egg. So we're gonna use some sesame oil, and we will brush each cup.
Correct.
David, you will help me to do that
Sure.
while I'm cracking those quail eggs. And then I'm gonna put each egg into each cup holder. It's a cup cover actually, but whatever you have, you could find even silicone things that you could buy on Amazon too. So I'm just gonna drop each
Perfect.
just like that. See how easy?
And you've got the water steaming here.
Yeah, so we have the water steaming there. This is how we're gonna cook those eggs
The reason we
in
have
the steamer.
The reason we have the sesame oil here is to let the eggs just slide out when we're finished with them, so they'll be not adhered to the.
And also
to the bowl.
the flavor, we wanna
Great.
use it for that delicious sesame undertaste. So here, they are happening for me. I'm getting better at cracking quail eggs. It's all practice. They're very interesting because the shell is very thin,
Right.
but at the same time, there is like a layer there that is dense, and that's why it makes it harder to, get that.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Teamwork. All right.
And we will put also each, maybe you could do the greens while I
Sure.
finish this, yeah? So,
I'll make the nest.
yeah, you make, no, the cilantro.
Oh, chop it. Sure.
So now we will add cilantro into each egg. So this is a really fun dish that you guys can cook with your kids. David has two beautiful boys that are just so smart and sweet, and and I'm sure you do all this fun things together as a family. It's such a interesting dish to make with your children because it's fun and exciting, because the beauty of it is mind-blowing. You will see when we are ready to serve it.
Taking one leaf of cilantro and putting it on each quail egg right in the center. These are going to steam and get set. Just about 2.5 to maximum 4 minutes steaming per egg.
So that's why it's pretty quick. And I do have here, you could use any broth you like. I have chicken stock that I had in my freezer. I always make a lot for, things like that I could use. But you could even buy any stock or vegetable stock, whichever stock you prefer. This one is a little cracked, but we'll cover it. with cilantro.
No harm, no foul. There's even a pun in that.
Yes, exactly. So, and you said how long do we cook this for in the steamer?
These will be steamed for 2.5 to 4 minutes. And then they're not completely cooked through. You want the yellow to be as bright as possible, so you don't want it to be completely hard-boiled.
Yeah, you want them to be
Soft-boiled.
soft-boiled. Okay, I think I have a chance
could do
to
it
change
yeah.
that. Yeah, let's do that.
Looking good.
It's beautiful. And the colors are so fun.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's a very nutritious soup. You've got broth, you've got eggs, which are good for you. You've got the fresh greens, very little oil, very little salt.
Yes,
Very
exactly.
nutritious.
And it's something you like to eat for lunch, right? You prefer to have soups.
Yeah, I like soups for lunch because it makes you eat basically 2.5 meals instead of 3. And when I eat a soup, it's filling, but it's not too heavy. And so I like it because I don't fall asleep
Right after
at
lunch.
2 or 3 p.m. Yeah.
And David is in such a great shape. He's, eating healthy, working out, and it's amazing.
Got to keep up with Edwina. It's kind of tough.
Not really. But David, you also are sitting on a lot of boards, right? David does a lot of charity work. He is just always impressing me with the things he squeezes into his days, into his life. How do you manage to incorporate all this while you have such a high standing career?
Well, they always say, if you want something done, ask a busy person. And I'm not sure that I'm the most organized person in the world, but I do like to keep busy.
Yes.
And I don't like to be bored. So I'm interested in many things. I'm interested in cooking. I'm interested in work. I'm interested in charity. I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in intellectual stimulation, the culture, the arts, travel. So my mind doesn't like to sort of sit still. I like to be focused on something. Then there's, of course, time to relax and just veg
What do
out.
you like to do at your relaxing times?
Well, I've taken to this workout of working out in the pool. This morning I had a workout in the pool with our trainer.
Oh, really? In the pool?
So it's not exactly relaxing, but it's stimulating such that I feel great afterwards, because it's both cardio and weights.
Okay.
In the pool.
In the pool.
And then you get out and you've got oxygen flowing through your whole body. Your muscles feel toned, and anyway, it just feels great. You're outside under the palm trees with this fluffy clouds. It's beautiful.
Very nice. And now we have our eggs steaming. So we're gonna time it. 2.5 minutes. So we'll be at 12:30 almost.
Perfect.
Yep. And yes, we are good. Very good. So when you exit your startups,
Yes.
is it hard to say goodbye?
It's a great question. One of the most interesting things that we found out is that some of our best returns come from what we call serial entrepreneurs. These are entrepreneurs who have done it once and they come back to do it again. And with your permission, I'd like to clear up a misconception that I think is quite common in the media and among many, many people who look at entrepreneurs, look at venture capitalists, and they say, oh, they're just doing it for the money, and then they're going to just go off to Tahiti and drink margaritas.
That's not true.
And what I found, that entrepreneurs really are more likely artists, like you're an artist. And most entrepreneurs feel the same way. So you can only cook one great meal in your life? You can only have one great company startup? Probably not.
I love that mindset.
You're going to be doing multiple series of things, and you iterate and you try and you start and you have a success, maybe you have a less of a success, and then you learn from it and do something better in the future. So that's what I liked about this entrepreneurial journey, is that just because you've had something that didn't work out perfectly, don't blame yourself. It's usually the market. You didn't hit the market right. I never blame the engineers. Engineers almost always do what they're told. They build what they're supposed to build. The board of directors and the CEO usually are the ones
who have
made a decision about where they should be aiming with that product. And sometimes they miss the aim. They don't quite hit it on target, and the market moves. Maybe there's a regulatory change, maybe there's a socioeconomic change, maybe there's a culture change, a taste change. Think about COVID. How many poor businesses who had no idea, it just sort of knocked them for a loop, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think if you learn from things that don't succeed, then you have made it into a success. So we've had great success with entrepreneurs who have been successful once, and then they come back and do it again.
So you don't really say goodbye to them. You keep
We try not to.
working,
We hold them
working with
close.
them. That's important, that also the people that you already trust, you know that they're going to deliver.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense, that keep working with people who are also driven and they want to create something again. That's really smart.
Life is about relationships. We have a nice relationship that we built up through your wonderful partner, TJ, who I met across the street.
Yes.
Miami Fresh for breakfast, fateful breakfast. It was wonderful.
And we've been really fortunate to have you as our special friends.
And the person who introduced us, I met 30 years ago, and we only had a brief interaction. But 30 years later, he said, "You've got to meet TJ and Adrina."
Yeah.
So anyway, life has these ties that bind. Venture capital is all about these relationships. I remember I said it's about people, and so that's why I love doing what I do. And don't those look gorgeous?
Is it ready or not?
Well, tell me the time.
The time says yes, but I don't think they are.
I would give it a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think they are. So
But not much more.
not much more. Yeah, we need a couple more, maybe 1 minute.
maybe one.
All right, I'm gonna cover it. Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to make sure we can have
Put
perfect.
the camera to show.
We will when we serve. It's fine. You guys are gonna
Should
see
we
it.
build the nest?
Yeah. So now we will build the nest. So the point of the soup, besides it being very delicious, you have no idea how delicious it smells here from this. The stock is just. I have a lot of.
It's like it's Chinese, but it's almost an umami.
Yes, because
taste.
it has a lot of spices here, like allspice, cinnamon, kind of, like very Asian flavors, like a faux.
And we have soy, and we have
We have sesame oil, and we have garlic here. So we're using a really huge bowl. David, maybe you can pass that bowl to me. So we're gonna start building the nest. I'm gonna put this on the side.
Okay.
And I can turn this off. So how are we building the nest?
We put the scallions.
So
in
yeah,
the soy sauce.
the soy sauce. So I chopped up some scallions, and we're just gonna drop them. Yeah, we're gonna drop them on the bottom, correct?
Mm-hmm. Gorgeous.
And I think we should put them all.
Yeah.
I love greens and herbs, and yeah, they're great for you.
Okay, then a little bit of
The soy sauce. We have. You can use a spoon.
Okay. I mean, I'd say a couple tablespoons for a bowl of this size.
Yeah, because we did not really season the stock. It's more seasoned with the flavor of the vegetables. Yeah.
One more. Okay.
Yeah, and we could taste it afterwards, and if we need some salt.
And some of this, the sesame oil.
We're still adding some.
Yeah, this goes
a little
here.
bit. Okay. Maybe that's enough, because sesame sometimes is very strong. So you should put less, and better to add it later. So now we have our beautiful sam choy that we steamed with sauteed garlic, and we're gonna start building the beautiful nest.
Like
Yes.
Birds.
Yeah.
I would start with the big ones
to put them on the sides.
Outside.
Yeah.
And the little ones in the center.
Well, that's so cool. I'm so excited about this dish. Isn't it amazing?
Gorgeous.
That's what I love about my show, that every person brings a special, unique dish with them, something that they love, something that comes from maybe their childhood, heritage, anything, or things that they traveled, or cookbooks that, David loves to cook. And it's always exciting for me, because I'm also tasting something new, and it doesn't matter how much I cook, but I don't cook everything. So this is so awesome to try this beautiful, delicious foods. So there's always goes a lot of this sam choy into the recipe, right? Again, you can scan that your QR code, and all the ingredients are there. Oh, let's check on our eggs. Let me check.
Well,
here.
they're probably done. I think so.
Yeah, they.
I like to think about sometimes, how many generations of mothers, grandmothers, probably not too many men, but maybe there were some men cooks, made this dish, in rural China probably, or in cities. Probably it's been made for centuries, is my guess.
Yes, exactly. And it's so nutritious and beautiful. The way it looks. That's okay. And exciting, and it's something you share with the family, right? We're gonna drop all this garlic into it, and now the eggs.
Slide them right out. Is that okay.
Yeah, of course. Let's try.
Can I use a little? Ooh, these are hot.
Yeah. Let me try that.
I'll use a napkin to hold them.
It's all right.
Careful, just like a little.
I have this.
That's better. That's perfect.
I have the spoon. Yeah, you see, they're easily coming out because we had the oil. So we're just dropping the eggs. I could do that. I have hot hands. I could use everything.
Better than me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, but how come this is attached?
Yeah.
There we go.
Get that. Okay. Very, very fun. This is beautiful. Can't wait to taste this, David. So if you hosted a dream dinner party, who would you invite, and what would you cook?
Oh, wow. That's a fun question.
It is.
I used to have a standard answer. I've changed my people over the years.
Exactly, right?
I used to want to invite Cher. Sorry, Cher, you don't get invited anymore.
Right, yeah.
I've grown up. I think I'd want a combination of scientific and political and philosophical people. and there are many fascinating, interesting people. I haven't thought about this question, but a few people that come to my mind. One of my friends, and I call him a philosopher, certainly a journalist and a amazing, wonderful human being, is Douglas Murray, who has made a lot of podcasts and written a number of books. He talks a lot about
someone interested to talk to that.
He's just a fascinating man. He talks a lot about the West and the liberties that we often take for granted, and how we need to defend these
liberties that we have. Exactly.
Rights.
And what is happening right now in the world is mind-blowing to me, that people do not understand the values anymore, and do not understand, they don't see the evil, and it's just really sad. That's what we were fighting for, is being taken away by people who don't even belong here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the history of the emergence of Western democracy and representative government and limited government is so rare. It's very fragile, and so we want to help preserve it. And that's I'm very interested in that area. So I'd like some brain scientists, maybe Jonathan Haidt is a fascinating guy. Douglas Murray and perhaps Jordan Peterson would be another fascinating person to have at the dinner table. And then another, let's do a historian. How about Neil Ferguson? How about that for a mixture of people?
Incredible.
And with his wife, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, who's one of the most magnificent people. And I love to quote the phrase that Christopher Hitchens, he should rest in peace, used to say, the three most beautiful words in the English language are Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Although I would say the two most beautiful are Edwina Tarakanyan.
Thank you. You're so sweet. I love you, David. This is looking incredible. So what we do here now, we will pour our delicious broth, and that's it. It's hot, steaming hot. I have my ladle here.
Okay, do the ladle it? Okay, that's good.
Or maybe, yes, maybe we should just, yeah. Oh, I got it.
Oh,
I could do this.
Tough lady.
Ooh, I don't want to splash on us. Okay.
Gorgeous.
Just.
And then the eggs will start to float.
Float like the bird nest. This is so crazy. Look how beautiful they look. Yeah, this is our beautiful, wonderful eggs floating. Oh.
And we just ladle it into small bowls. Maybe.
So this is a serving bowl that is a family size, and then we will take little bowls and try it from here. How wonderful is this? I love it. Thank you so much, David, for teaching me something new, something different.
And
Let's drink to that.
This is truly a liquid lunch.
I like, there's a song that I love. It's called Liquid Lunch. So
Perfect.
There you go. So what would you think would pair this with what kind of drink? Maybe a sake?
Sake would be lovely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I think would be really nice to have sake with this, because sake is very light, and also it's not intrusive, and it would be something really nice to have with it. But let me get the bowls, and I wanna taste it.
Try.
Yep.
Best part of this video.
And we probably need chopsticks as well, right?
Well, for this one, we could eat Chinese style by just slurping it, or maybe with
Let's
big spoon.
Let's slurp it. Yeah. We'll do this, and then I'll add with my tongs some of the greens as well.
Great.
Yep.
Very fresh, very
So
nutritious,
incredible.
light,
Unbelievable. Yep.
nutritious, filling.
Feeling it has it all, just like you.
I'm just basking in reflected glory.
Wonderful. Here we go, David. Be careful. I have some.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good. Try it
All
off.
right.
Okay,
Here we
try.
go. Let's try. I want to try this quail egg. Look at this beauty.
Yum, yum, yum.
Wow. Unbelievable. And the broth is so good. It is very important to make a really high quality broth. So to make a broth, please use spices like cinnamon, allspice, black pepper, the cinnamon bark, not the powder. Also use a lot of fennel, ginger, garlic, you know, along with all the regular stuff that we put onions and but that's what will create this delicious broth. So you know, I always like a lot of salt, so I added more soy sauce for me into the plate, but
I agree. I think that'd be fantastic.
delicious. Thank you so much, David. I think this was a wonderful lunch with you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing this wisdoms and knowledge that took you all your life to learn with our wonderful audience. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, David, again. Bye. See you soon.
Bye. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.